morning Hebrew home. My heart is where the Hebrew home is. For where the heart is, that's where you find the Hebrew home.
Welcome. Today is Friday, May 15th, and the time is 10:30 a.m. I am your host, Olivia Cohen, coming in live from the Dorfner Judaica Museum here at the Hebrew Home, and this is Good Morning Hebrew Home. Don't forget, we are waiting for viewer mail, so send us your comments or questions and we will share them on the show. You can write mail and give it to your friendly TAP activities person, or you can call us and leave a message by dialing the number 2813. Today's show, we will be talking with Deirdre Lok, Assistant Director and General Counsel of the Weinberg Center for Elder Justice. This week, an online benefit was held by celebrities to raise money for New Yorkers affected by COVID-19. So I thought it would be fun to name a few of what the internet calls the top places to visit in New York City. So number 1, Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. Number 2, Central Park. Number 3, Hudson River Park. Number 4, Museum Mile, which is a stretch of museums on 5th Avenue from 82nd Street to 105th Street. So the Guggenheim, the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Number 5, the Empire State Building, or the top of the rock. Fun fact, my father changed the light bulb at the top of the Empire State Building, so shout out to my dad. Number 6, the Brooklyn Bridge. Number 7, Times Square. And number 8, a big favorite, the Great White Way, Broadway. Let us know if we missed anything. Let us know if you ever visited any of those places, or what are some of your favorite places to visit in New York City or outside of the city. You can leave us a message, don't forget. So we have a great show planned for you today. Let's get into the news. Let's first take a look at our weather in our neck of the woods. We have a shower or two today around the area early, and given by the humidity and my frizz in my hair, it'll probably have showers at some point today. It'll then be partly cloudy during the afternoon with a high of 83 degrees. We have a chance of rain, which is 30%, but I think higher. Saturday will be partly cloudy skies with a high of 76 degrees. Sunday will be partly cloudy skies with a high of 67 degrees. Now let's move to this day in history. May 15th, 1928, the first Mickey Mouse film is screened. The 6-minute film, Plane Crazy, directed by Walt Disney, shows Mickey trying to fly an airplane in reference to Charles Lindbergh. Today, Mickey Mouse is one of the world's most recognized cartoon characters and the official mascot of the Walt Disney Company. 1940, the first McDonald's fast food restaurant opens. Maurice Mack and Richard Dick McDonald opened McDonald's Barbecue in San Bernardino. Today, McDonald's is the world's largest fast food chain. And don't tell David, but 1941 baseball player Joe DiMaggio starts his record-breaking 56-game hitting streak. I needed a third. Our famous birthday for today is Madeleine Albright. Born May 15, 1937 in Prague, Czechoslovakia, she's known for being Bill Clinton's Secretary of State from January 23, 1997 to January 20, 2001. She became a staff member of President Carter's National Security Council and U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations in 1993. Her position as Secretary of State was notable for being the first woman to hold the post. Here's a quote from Ms. Albright. It took me quite a long time to develop a voice, and now that I have it, I am not going to be silent. We are celebrating a birthday here at the home, so happy birthday to Dolores D. We wish you all the best. Also happening today, let's see what food services is cooking up for us. Today's lunch will be cheddar pierogies, stewed tomatoes, and a chocolate cookie for dessert. And for dinner, we have vegetable soup, rosemary steak with lemon potatoes, and a marble pound cake. Today's lunch will be beef stew, rice pilaf, and peach mango applesauce for dessert. Dinner will be vegetable and quinoa soup, Waldorf tuna salad platter with homemade potato salad, and rice pudding for dessert. Sunday's lunch will be meatballs and marinara sauce with spaghetti and broccoli florets, and a brownie for dessert. Dinner will be escarole with white bean soup, a Spanish omelet, and home fries for entree. And for dessert, strawberry ice cream. We are using a new teleprompter, everyone, so let us know how we're doing and if you like it. I hope it keeps our eyes more up to the camera and less paper. Our interview for today is with Deirdre Lok, the Assistant Director of General Counsel of the Weinberg Center for Elder Justice. So welcome, Deidre. Thank you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here?
Okay, I am a mom to 2 kids, a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old. I have been working here for 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah, which I'm very proud of. And I have worked at and with the Weinberg Center for that whole time. I came here first as a prosecutor. That was my background in law. And this job seemed really exciting because we talked about, I come from a world of domestic violence advocacy, and here we really have delved so deeply into elder abuse, and thinking about the ways that elder abuse affects older adults in the community. So I'm part of the Weinberg Center, which is a shelter that is within the Hebrew home here and supported by everybody here. And we take referrals of elder abuse from the community and try to holistically help every person who comes in, medically, psychologically, socially, legally, in as many ways as we can identify.
Yeah, we had Joy on, I think last week, and just thinking about how you guys are all just superheroes in the Elder Justice Department, and there's so many facets involved with this shelter within the home, and so it's just such a big part of it here. What kind of led you on your journey to where you are now with your position here at the home? Where you said you came from a background with domestic violence work.
Yeah.
And what led you to working with older adults?
I was very interested in the criminal side to domestic violence and victim advocacy, and what makes domestic violence cases so different is the familial relationship, and that dynamic makes those kinds of crimes very, very different than stranger crimes, and it's complicated. When I'd actually moved, I started off in Queens as a prosecutor, and then I moved to Hawaii and was a prosecutor in Hawaii, which was amazing in some ways, but I wanted to come back more to my roots in New York. And when I came back, I didn't really want to continue doing the trial work that was required being a prosecutor. And I frankly stumbled upon this job. And at the time, it was really different than it looks now, which has been so exciting and great to be a part of, because it was just 3 of us, and now we have a much bigger team. So it's been a combination, I guess, of what has led me here: victim advocacy, my interest in the family dynamic and crime, but then also all of the issues that make older adults and elder abuse look very different. So what aging may contribute, and also that it really, domestic violence has received a lot of attention and elder abuse frankly hasn't. So it was an excellent, exciting opportunity, and obviously I'm happy.
I think one of the great joys that I have in doing the show and talking to people in interviews is kind of hearing where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
And each and every person has just said that wanting to be an advocate for older adults or filling a need where it's so needed to be there for older adults, and I think that's what just brings us all together and what just makes this whole organization great. And everyone sounds like they came from different places. So I know that you had shared with me that you moved around a bunch. Where are some of the places that you have lived or moved around?
Yes, so I was actually asking my colleagues, I'm like, what would be interesting about me? I guess me having lived in different places, I grew up in Rochester, New York.
Okay.
So snow is no big deal to me. Then I moved to Ohio, where I went to college and studied a little bit of piano there.
Okay.
And then, I don't know if I can count this, but I did a study abroad in London.
That
So
counts.
I got a job. I felt like because I had a job there that could count.
I think it counts.
So I lived in London. Then I came back and lived in New York City for a few years, and then I moved to San Francisco, where I work for a politician. And then I moved back to New York for law school, and then after law school, a few years later, I moved to Hawaii. And I'm not Hawaiian, I have no connection to Hawaii. I just did an internship there in law school, and
Wow.
who wouldn't love Hawaii, so.
What was that like, living in Hawaii with beautiful nature?
It was amazing. I learned to surf, I learned to hula dance,
Oh my, there's so many interesting things about you.
oh no, but I can't still do those things because this was like this was 15 years ago. Pre-kids, like totally different life. It was so fun. I lived 2 blocks from the beach. It was great. It was really, really great. But interestingly, the justice system there looked very different than it does here. And having been trained as a, New York City attorney, it was really different culturally and lifestyle-wise to be there. And ultimately, career-wise, I felt it was a lot more suited for me to be in a, northeastern New York-based place.
Yeah. So now you're in New York. I heard that you said you're from Queens, so I'm from Queens as well.
Oh, I'm not from Queens. I'm from Rochester.
Oh, but you
I
lived in
worked.
Queens.
Yes, I worked in the Queens DA's office for 3 years, which was. I learned all the neighborhoods in Queens. It's the most culturally diverse borough.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm partial to Queens.
Yes, understood.
Yeah, it was great. So now you are in New York. You have kids. You
Yes.
said. Do anything? I know that they all play instruments, right?
Yes. So my mother was a Suzuki mom, so to speak. If anybody's familiar with the Suzuki Method.
Yeah. What's Suzuki like? Really
Quick.
Quick. Yeah.
It's a methodology of learning an instrument by ear. That's
And also very young, like.
Right.
Like
yes.
at a young age.
Yeah. And the idea is that there's a whole psychology behind it, and it has to do with the relationship with the parent, the child, and the teacher. And the idea is that anybody can learn music. It's a language, just like any other language. So if you think that your children could learn German because they're exposed to the language, or English, or whatever, same idea. Music is a language. So. I was a Suzuki kid and a strong believer to this day, and that's how I started piano at a young age. And so then, of course, when I had my kids, when they were 4, I was like, okay, time to get cracking. So my daughter started piano, and I was thinking for my son what would be an instrument that he'd enjoy given his personality, and I just said a guitar would lend itself to both rocker kind of thing and classical music and maybe some campfire folk singing too.
Yep.
So
Guitar's versatile.
yeah. And I've been really proud because we've also, since my daughter was 4, I realized I'd said to you that it was a few years that we've been doing the children's music recital, and I think I said it was 3 years, but it's really been more than that.
Oh, it has?
Because my daughter started when she was 4, so she's now 9, going to be 10. So I think it's been actually like maybe 5 years.
Yeah.
So
We've
that's
done
been really happy.
how many years have we, so we've had children's recitals here in the Winter Garden, I
Yeah.
think, a bunch of times, and we were gonna have one this
Yeah.
summer, yeah. So it's been how many years that we've had this children's recital here at the Home for the Residents?
I think 5
Okay.
years. And we were doing it in the fall and in the spring. And I have to say it's been so nice both to see residents enjoy the kids performing, but the kids have also really loved it.
Yeah.
And, you know, have connected. They all have memories of specific people that they've met here. So it's been really nice for them too.
I think those intergenerational connections are so important for both. It's a shared experience, and then when you add music into the mix, it always just keeps this a universal language for both to connect on.
Yeah.
So it is such a lovely thing. It will happen again. It will be
Yeah.
a recital that we'll have back here again. And I know that you have prepared some music actually for us as well. Do you want to talk a little bit why you chose a song that you're bringing
Sure.
today?
So I really don't play piano anymore, but when I heard that you were doing this show and that it would be interesting to see staff members do something, and I was like, okay, it's time to dust off my piano for myself. So I picked something that I played when I was about 8 or 9 years old, because I figured that I could handle that now. And I liked it because it's relatively short and it's in 3 movements. It's a sonata. And I'm partial to sonatas because they each present a very different mood and feeling. And that to me is something, there's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of emotions going every which way for all of us, I think. And this is a piece that allows me to feel or express sort of the range of emotions that you know, I think to a certain extent we all are feeling.
That's so beautiful, and the amount of thought that you put into just the song and playing it and everything. Also, you volunteered for this as well. You reached out
Oh.
to me to be on this, and I think that's just so wonderful, and just a part of us just all coming together to share on this platform is just so much fun. So I'm gonna ask that you head over to our performance center, and we'll hear the wonderful song that you prepared for us. No, that's okay. Mhm, it's at the bottom. I'm so nervous. You're gonna do great.
Put me in front of to advocate for somebody, I'm totally fine, but this is very personal and much harder for me.
for playing. That was wonderful. It's just so lovely to see how many of our staff here have so many different talents that we are learning on the show. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And now for our positive news story. This week's star-studded Rise Up New York, which was a virtual telethon hosted by comedic icon Tina Fey, helped to raise more than $115 million for New Yorkers whose lives who have been dramatically impacted by COVID-19, and the actress could hardly contain her emotions over the outpouring of support. Robin Hood, New York's largest poverty-fighting organization, and iHeartMedia joined together this week to air the citywide virtual telethon to raise funds for Robin Hood's relief and recovery efforts to help fellow New Yorkers rebuild their lives in the wake of COVID-19 economic shutdown. 100% of the donations raised are being deployed directly to the frontline organizations providing food, shelter, cash assistance, health and mental health, legal services, education, and other supportive resources. Figureheads from across New York's most beloved entertainment industries all participated in the telethon that was broadcasted across different radio and television channels, as well as several Times Square billboards. The special opened with Robert De Niro, reminding that New York City has had other times and they can take its best shot, but they cannot break our spirit. David Chang and other figures of the New York City restaurant industry talked about its importance both as a cultural and economic sector for the city. Several musical performances were broadcast from artists like Mariah Carey, Billy Joel, and Sting. Broadway stars joined Barbra Streisand in lamenting the closure of NYC theaters and reminded New Yorkers of their iconic productions, places in the history of the city. Sports stars like Michael Strahan and Eli Manning announced a contest whereby donators can win a game of touch football with the New York Giants. The benefit closed with Governor Andrew Cuomo surprising viewers by introducing a special performance of Miami 2017 by Billy Joel, which took over 13 of Times Square's iconic digital billboards. At the same time, the Empire State Building debuted a choreographed lighting spectacle that will repeat at 9 p.m. every night throughout this week. It's a good reminder of how strong we New Yorkers are. Remember to tune in to Channel 8 later today. We have Catholic services in a few minutes at 11, your hit parade with Larry at 1:30, Shabbat Shalom at 3, and don't forget you can catch this episode of Good Morning Hebrew Home now on Channel 88, our streaming channel, or at 6:30, or on YouTube. That's our show for today. Once again, this has been Olivia Cohen with Good Morning Hebrew Home. We will see you Monday, same time, same place, same channel. Cohen out.
Hebrew home, good morning, Hebrew home. My heart is where the Hebrew home is. For where the heart is, that's where you find the Hebrew home.